Welcome to Networking Squared with Jerry O and Al Crawford. Grab your coffee, hang out for an hour, and learn from their business experts. Now, here are your business squares, Jerry and Al.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the Networking Squared on a very cool Saturday morning. I am here. I am Jerry Olson, and my partner here, Mr. Alan Crawford. Nobody calls him Alan.
Yeah, that really sounded weird, Jerry. Unless you're my mom or my wife, I really don't expect to hear that.
Yeah, he thought maybe his mother was calling in today. We are working on a very special Saturday. Just found out about this morning, going through some of the Facebook stuff and on the news and some on the internet. And we were talking about today is what, Al?
Today is actually, American Express put this out, and they're actually calling this Small Business Day.
So we're working, they want people to go out and to support your local small businesses. The large corporations have great big commercials and all kinds of budgets, and they're getting lots of people into their stores. And for this, American Express has put together the very first Small Business Day to get people to get down and shop at all of the small little stores. And what else do they have on there, Al?
Well, I think that when I'm looking at this, it was really cool. There's a lot of statistics, and I love the numbers, and we'll share all that in just a minute. But I think that what this really does is this kind of boils back into everything that the show's about. It is really about the small business owner, and it is the networking portion. And I think that this is a little wake-up call for people, that when we look at, we have a major corporation that is calling this Small Business Saturday. This is how we need to be looking at it every day. Every day needs to be a small business day.
Well, it's amazing that American Express would do that. They are aware that small business is what really drives the economy. And they have some, you know what, let's go to those statistics, Al. How much of the business, or how many, the percentage of new jobs is created from the small business?
On the statistics that we were just showing, it said between 60 and 80% of all the jobs created from year to year over the last decade have been from small businesses. So between 60 and 80% of all the jobs created.
And they said that for every $100 locally spent, and this is really important for the small business because that's who we're supporting here on this station, for every $100 spent, $68 goes back into the community in form of taxes, payroll, and other expenses. And how important is that?
I mean, it's critical. We have to have that. And I know that it's something that we make a big focus on trying to support the small business owners. And it's something that all of our listeners were asking that same thing, to say, instead of going to one of the big box stores, is there a local store around you? Is there an ACO? Is there an Ace Hardware somewhere that's near where you are that you can stop by and get that instead of having to go to that big box store?
Well, we want you to think about your small business person. Think about the people that have got up bright and early this morning. They're in their stores. They've got their goods and services. They're ready for you. Everybody from the carpet store, carpet cleaning, to your wine place. They are all over. And we deal with a lot of them being with Local Business Network. In Local Business Network, it is the vast majority are small business.
Right. And we were looking at about 550 businesses that we have relationships with in just Southeast Michigan. And think about that. We're talking about, in that area, a population of probably over 3 million people. And we just have, 550 small businesses. Think about how big something like this can be if you have more and more businesses accepting that if they're helping each other, they're promoting each other. And here would be an example. If you're at a business today and you have a smartphone, what you can do to help that small business owner is go on to Foursquare. We've talked about Foursquare before. It's a free app on every smartphone, and put on there that you're at that location. It's a free ad. It's something that's going to take you a second to do, and it's a way that you're able to promote a local small business that maybe doesn't have the budget to buy a bunch of ad time or newspaper time.
Well, when we're here and we're talking about networking, and Al and I talked about that during our pre-show here, the budgets that the big corporations spend on advertising and getting people into the stores is just astronomical. For the small business, networking is how they get their customers in the store. Networking is how they train their friends, their family, their group around them, what they do, and they are looking for their friends, family, networking groups to let other people know what their business does and to get them in the stores. It's so critical. Networking is what's going to work for all of us, especially on the small business side. And it's nice that American Express stepped forward and actually put their money where their mouth is to help the small business.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's something that's nice to hear it from that side, because it's a battle that we fight every day, trying to get the word out. And it's nice to see that there's some national recognition for the small business owner. Another statistic that I saw, Jerry, that I wanted to share is it says that that small businesses employ half of the private sector employees in the U.S. So half. So we have to think about that. We have to look at how that works with that small store, that small local store that's there. How many people does that affect? And I think that when we look at it from a networking standpoint, I think that really a lot of people don't share with friends and family what they do for a living. And I think that's one of the basics of networking, is having that information being shared with people that they know, to say, this is what I do for a living, and this is who I'm looking for to do business with.
Very, very important. And I did want to say, there was some more stats on here that the Small Business Saturday on Facebook has 1 million friends. I know Al and I both signed up this morning. And Facebook, for small business, is donating $500,000 in promotional services to small business. So because of this, American Express started it, Facebook picked it up, Facebook's going to donate $500,000, Al.
Yeah, I saw that. And they're actually going to be donating, I think, ad times as well. They're going to be giving some ads out, free ads on Facebook to Facebook listeners from that page. That's
very, very incredible. If you get a chance, get on Facebook and sign up for that. And we appreciate Facebook. I don't know where all the money comes from. Except that Facebook people are bajillionaires, aren't they?
They are now, yes.
So, what's been on your Facebook page this week?
Well, there's been a lot of stuff. I mean, one of the things that we did on Thursday, I belong to the Troy Rotary, and one of the things that I did, and it was probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. We, along with several other people from the Rotary, we actually went out Thursday morning and we delivered meals to needy families. And we got those meals from Kroger, and it was a prepared, full-blown meal that we drove out and we took out to families in Troy.
Now, this was a Rotary, so it's another networking opportunity. These were networking people that you worked with, and that's how you got involved?
Yeah. Obviously, the Rotary is another avenue. It's another outstretch. It's people that the initial or the majority of why you're there, it is for philanthropic. It's to give. But ultimately, there's relationships that you're building from it that do lead to business. That's not the original focus when you go to this. It's really about the giving. But through the relationships, obviously, business can happen.
Well, I like that. And we're going to welcome your calls in today. We would ask that you pick up your phone. It's 1-800-923-9385, 1-800-923-9385. 9385. If you have a small business and you'd like to tell us a little bit about it, Al and I are here today. We would like to discuss that with you, find out how you're getting your business, and maybe some of the concerns that you're having dealing with the Black Friday, and we've got Cyber Monday coming up, which is going to be another great big credit card day for online, and we want to find out how our small business people are competing against that, and what are some of the ideas that we can share with our listeners.
Yeah, and if you're in our listening area, if they have something that's going on, some specials, something that you want to get a little free ad time with us, call in. We'd love to give you some support and do a little shout out to your location.
Well, we had a in-house guest going to be here today, and he had some issues, some family issues, so we're going to have to fill the air with what we like to talk about. We are the networking experts, and we want to share all of those things with you. We're going to do that in the next segment and talk a little bit about networking, and I thought the great topic would be networking and where do I start? Mr. Al here is a great big person for statistics, and we were going over how many people are not networkers and how many people in the Detroit metropolitan area don't network. We were naming some of the networking groups and how many people are in them, and we're just touching a small fraction.
When you look at the numbers, Jerry, I don't think it's 1%. I don't think it's 1% of people that are actually doing this. So there is a lot to be learned. There's a lot of information people need, and that's really what we want to have happen with this show. We need people to embrace this and understand that networking is the answer for many, many people.
Well, if you're not that major corporation and you don't have a boardroom and you don't have a giant sales staff, getting involved in networking is where it's going to happen. That's where you teach people what you do, what you sell, and you need to get out there. But once again, people are going, all right, so where do I start?
Well, yeah, and that's what we're definitely going to get into that in the next segment. But what you have to look at is to say, if you're spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month on the Yellow Page ad and these other sorts of advertisement, you have to look to say, where can I get my best bang for the buck? And during that next segment, we will get into how networking can make that difference. It's something where it's been a life-changing thing for me as well as you, Jer, and it's something where we need to share that message.
Well, we've been talking about using all of the tools available back, in the day. Maybe you had one tool. You had a Yellow Pages or you had a sign somewhere. Today, what you have are many, many tools, and you have to use them exactly where you need them. Facebook, LinkedIn. Give me a couple other ones, Al.
There's Groupon, there's Foursquare, there's Plaxo, there's a litany of them, but it's using them judiciously on a good time frame.
All right, we are Networking Squared. We're going to see you on the other side. Other side.